Hey everyone, it's Steve Severs for Bionic Buzz. I'm probably most excited I've ever been for an interview, just from nostalgia feeling. I'm joined by one of my best friends, DJ Rossstar, and he has been a staple in the 2000 emo pop punk scenes. He's his Live with DJ Rossstar show interview bands from My Chemical Romance, Katy Perry, Foo Fighters, Yellowcard. A lot of them like the very first, you know, interview. And speaking of first interviews, the very first one he ever did at WVAU at Merrick University in Washington, D.C., where I met him at college, was Homegrown. Let me see if I get the date right. September 18th, 2002 was your very first live show with the band Adam
Which
from
is
Homegrown.
incredible because on
Wow.
that day in 2002, I was only 9 years old. So it was awesome that, I had a radio show back then.
So,
Well
well,
played. Well
Adam,
played.
we obviously Ross and I were huge fans of Homegrown. I kind of want to go through the history of that, or kind of brief history of your music career up to your new band, which you just started recently. You were kind of Homegrown was like to me like one of those bands that was like kind of ahead of its time. I didn't really know to your Drive-thru, 2002 King of Pops, but I mean, you guys performed in '94 and like way before like the big pop punk scene that came later. Can you talk about like forming in Orange County back in the day?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was the Orange County scene, if I could say it right, was almost like a reaction to listening to some of the Berkeley scene, right? Like the early stuff, the Operation IV, caught wind of bands like Screeching Weasel, the Queers, and stuff like that. And then it just sort of found its way. I think it kind of trickled down into, Orange County, and sort of found its sound there, right? Because it's pretty like suburban, life, at least, especially around here. So kind of how that distilled into us sort of made this poppy. It kind of all made sense, right? Like there was an angst. It was a little bit different than like what your parents were doing or even your older brother was listening to. Felt like your own, space to find yourself and be creative. And it just made sense. So that was the time too, right? When you got to think like, we understand this, but it's like pre-internet, pre all that stuff, pre like having a zillion different forms of entertainment, at your fingertips. It was kind of like, I'm in the neighborhood, I'm getting older. What do I want to do with myself? You like music, you like this music too. Hey, we should, play together. And it wasn't uncommon, like in Orange County and like Riverside and stuff, like, garages would be open or closed, and friends would be playing together. Some for like the first time, right? It's like, hey, we need a drummer. Oh, okay. It's like that's kind of how the scene was, and it sort of evolved. This is pretty organic process in Orange County for sure.
Now, I know in the beginning, all you guys had a nickname, but as the later Homegrown members came into the band, I feel like they didn't have their own nicknames. Why did you stop giving them names?
That's a good question. I mean, we called each other names, but that was less formalized than actually, on CD art and stuff like that. But
yeah.
I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like when you're a kid, it's just, you're just doing silly, stupid stuff, I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for you. It's like my name was Adam, because I was pretty spacey. In fact, back in the day too, is like, it reminds me of like tagging. Tagging was like a big thing. And so, I was in like a tagging group called MRK, Mark and Run Clan. And we just go around and tag up, freeways and stupid things like that.
Oh.
And
What
name
did
was
you draw
Thru.
when you tagged, or a road, I guess?
I'm going to guess that he drew penises.
I did not. But my tagger name was Drool. And I would tell you, I was a very subpar tagger and had no business in that space.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
the old school. Yeah, the old school tagging, not to be confused with tagging your friends now in a photograph on the internet. Totally different.
Yeah, good one, Ross.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yes.
We're that old.
Really bad graffiti artist is how I describe myself at that season in life. Yeah.
That's a cool, interesting thing to know about. Well, I do have to ask about, like, I would say the anthem of Ross and I's college years at WVAU was "You're Not Alone." It's cool. I guess when you recently came out, you performed that acoustically on your Instagram, and I guess can you tell us like the lyrics and the inspiration for writing that song?
Yeah, in ways, I think it's pretty straightforward in the sense that you know, when you're around people who are going through it, I think all of us need that reminder that you're not the only one, and you're not alone in this, you know. And I think it's important, especially for good friends, to step into that space. Oftentimes when friends and stuff push you away or ask for, you know, more space, more distance, it's actually probably quite the opposite. That's probably the time when you need to press in, you know, respectfully, but like, you know, pressing a little bit closer. And that song's kind of about that. I'd say the video is more kind of comical and stuff, because that was our genre, that's what we did, you know, and like, that's just kind of how it played out. But in terms of just like lyrically in the song, yeah, it's like, hey, let me get in it with you. Like, let's get out of this, you know?
Yeah.
And everybody watching needs to check out the Feliz Navidad video on YouTube when this is over as well.
Yeah. Yeah. They inevitably will, right around, like, I don't know what it is. It's like December 10th, whatever is like a trigger, probably right around there. I get all these things. Hey, it's like, yeah, I know. It's like, what, 15 years later, and it's like people are like going, hey, this is you, and I'm like, yeah,
wow,
yeah.
So it's got like a second life now all of a sudden, huh?
I feel like it's got like 15 rebirths. I don't know what it is about that song.
We need like to make it like a TikTok challenge. That's what we need next.
Oh yeah.
Do it.
That's a good one. Let's
I don't know anything about it. I don't know about the TikToks. That's all you, Adam.
You know what I know about, about TikToks? I know is when TikToks get shared on Instagram or YouTube.
Me too, man. I do enjoy it when they get shared, but I don't go on my way to actual TikTok app.
Yeah, that's as deep as my TikTok well will go, you know, probably. It's like, oh my gosh, how much time is there in the day? I love it. It's super entertaining, but I've only got so much time, man. I got 3 kids.
Gotcha.
Like,
you bet. That's only 3. You better keep going. That's it.
No. I have 2. I'm done. But yeah, no. I always like asking bands, artists this question. I mean, like, do you have any like nostalgia, like, you know, any stories from that time period? I mean, you were on the Drive-thru-Records with so many other great artists. You know, done so many amazing tours. You know, in the 2000s. Anything that like sticks out of your mind, or Adam, from anything?
I mean, gosh, there's so many stories, right? But like, I suppose the innocence of the earlier days, right? Like your first tours. I mean, I always look back with fondness and like shock at our first tour with US Bombs and the Grabbers, because it was just a baptism into what in the world is tour about. Like, it was just, you know, they were crazy, wild, super fun, like likable groups, you know, but it's like, oh my gosh, we're diving in headfirst to touring, you know. It's like sleeping in the van, you know, trying to find places to stay, like, you know, with the fan stuff. It's like, hey, you know, it wouldn't be uncommon, right? You might remember these times, like on the mic, you know, between songs, hey, we're looking for a place to stay tonight, so if anybody has a house, you know. It's like that was like normal back then. I love that. Those are just like sweet times, you know. It's like crazy memories, crazy stories, pulling up to like strangers' homes and parents not wanting you there, stuff like that. I mean,
I can only imagine that's gonna have been like kind of like a horror movie, kind of based on like to stay at someone's house, you know.
Oh, sure. Especially you got kids who are just, they're so excited at the possibility of having bands staying at their house, but not thinking through one minutia of the details of what that actually means for their household and their family. It's like, oh.
I don't know if I'd want Johnny specifically staying at my house to begin with. So
what's that?
I don't know if I'd want Johnny of all people staying in my home.
You would. It'd be entertaining.
Yeah. Okay. I take that back, Johnny. We'll do a quick fast forward then, so we can get to modern times. So you did Homegrown, and you went over to New Year's Day, and I was super excited that you were keeping the music going, and then you kind of dropped off. You just vanished. Poof, you were gone. And
yeah, I remember Ross, you and I went to the Key Club to see Adam with New Year's Day. Oh God, who knows what year that was? Yeah.
Yes, the original old school lineup, and Keith was there, I believe, before he moved to Sweden or wherever he lives now. Yeah.
He's local now. I just was texting him the other day. Awesome. I talked to his buddy Justin Fowler, who's I work with, like on we're working on like synthwave retro stuff, and
So the last interview I watched with you, maybe it was a year or two ago, and you were I think you were talking about the church, and I think you had a separate album. You were doing kind of religious music. I don't know if you ever put that out.
Yeah,
did that happen? That record?
Yeah, still happen. I mean, I do stuff. Mostly, I'm looking to like sort of raise up artists in the church. Like when I see like people with talent or whatever, it's kind of like I've been in the industry long enough to know like you've got talent, like you've got something to share. So I've got like a studio and stuff like that, so I can just sort of help, you know what I mean, sort of speed up the process and sort of call out those things as I see them. But yeah, I mean, with New Year's Day, that was, and they always knew this too, that was always like a temporary thing. Because I mean, like meeting Ashley and you know, she's just an incredible talent. Obviously it's proved out, you know, she's a rock star, you know, plain and simple. But I knew that early on, and kind of meeting up with her and being a songwriter and stuff, I just kind of picked her brain. What are you looking for? What sound? All that type of stuff. And sort of wrote that record. And the first record is My Dear, and then the EP before that. So I didn't want to do the road thing again. You know, I didn't want to do that. But I did have an interest in still writing and sort of being in that world. And if I'm totally honest, you know, making money off of the publishing side and stuff like that too. So it's
That's
like
the only way to make money.
the only way. The only way. So, and that still didn't really pay out either, but
well,
but it was cool.
You could have maybe.
It was a lot of fun though, and I'm proud of their success that they have, you know, now. So cool.
It may not have worked out for you, but it worked out for the guy from the Hippos. Is his name Ariel? It worked out for that guy, writing and producing.
Ariel? Oh
yeah,
God.
The Hippos.
I've heard about. He's a monster. You know, I just ran into Rich. Rich. He was in the Hippos too.
Yeah.
He's got the studio A to Z out in like San Dimas area or whatever. Incredible studio. And but he's doing well too. He's in it. You know, he's producing and engineering, you know, big bands and stuff like that. It's like he's living it, man. He's living it.
So you said you've been producing this whole time, but did you write for anyone else besides New Year's Day?
I wrote an album for a band called Daylight West.
Okay.
And you might be able to find some songs on like MySpace. That's how old it is. But it's more like Kiss FM sort of
Gotcha.
kind of rock pop stuff like that. Kind of same thing. Like the singer's just an incredible guy. He's on American Idol and stuff like that.
Oh wow. Okay.
And did pretty well. And it was just sort of writing his story. So like I worked with him when I was selling like patio furniture and stuff back in the day. It was so he had a ton of money to sort of throw at it and do like an incredible recording. And so we spent a couple months recording it, and it's an incredible record that no one will ever hear, but it was great.
Steve, do you want to segue Steve into
I could say into radical. Yeah. Well, yeah. First off, how'd you come up? I mean, it's great you're back and doing music. First, how'd you come up with the name Radical?
It's got like a few overlapping sort of things in it, right? Radical, like I'm a child of the 80s.
Yeah.
So radical, that was like common language, right? Like TNC Surf, all of that type of stuff, Maui and Sons. Like before it had the resurgence now, that was new, that was fresh, that was what you wore, like that was sort of your culture, right?
Yeah.
So that word in that sense resonates for me. Radical is like, it's a description, but it's also a noun. And so I love how those two work together. It's like together, it's in a sense, it's exponential. And also in the logo design, again, these are all like cryptic, obscure things that I wouldn't expect anyone to go like, oh, I see that. These are just,
that's why we're asking you. Yeah.
That's what we like to know.
Internal musings, but like, it's two, if you look at, there's a logo I have, it's two R's that perfectly face each other, and they make this logo. And in a sense, that's me facing myself. And like I stated for the project, like,
Steve.
Yeah, becoming who I am and sort of unlearning who I'm not, and sort of finding the healthier me, especially coming out of like a pretty dark place of depression and stuff. It's sort of facing who I was and not running from it, and sort of rising above it. So it's kind of got meshed in because it's all sort of visitations back to my childhood and sort of what even brought some of those dark spaces and like, and all of it sort of converging. And then of course, converging in the sound that I was once a part of. Right. So it's just, it's this crazy, it's cool. I like it. You know, that's why
is that why you kind of took a break? You kind of needed to work on yourself first before you got back into like quote unquote music industry. I mean, you know, or
no, I mean, like I've been serving at the same church for like 15 years. So music, I'm singing, doing stuff, helping artists all the time. I have local artists that I do like mixing and mastering for. So I've always been in this world, but the idea of like actually getting back into pop punk and stuff, that was not on the, I mean, that was not on the radar. It influences like my writing and stuff like now in other ways and other projects I've done with the church and stuff, but I had no plans of getting back into this. None.
Let me ask you, when you announced you were back, the reaction was crazy. I was one of those people who wrote you right away. You seemed really, really surprised. Were you really, really that surprised? You seemed like totally shocked. Like I couldn't believe you were that shocked that so many people were freaking out that you were back.
I was. It was pretty overwhelming. It was cool. And
wow.
Well, who am I? It's a whole new world, right? It's a whole new world of artists. It's a world in a lot of ways that I don't even understand because I'm like 2000s, late 90s punk rock, you know? And so coming into this new world and even leveraging, you know, Instagram and things like that to make connections with people. Cause that's kind of the world I knew back in the day is like, you made connections with people, right? You talk to the merch table. You would reply back to fan mail by writing letters. I mean, that's how dying. I'm just, you know, making an
I know that's all
gone.
gone. Now you have to pay to meet the band at the merch table, you know.
Now, oh gosh. Oh
yeah.
No. Well, I guess, you know,
I mean, I get it. You know, it's hard to make any money. You know.
Yeah.
So
but,
you played a show at the Tiki Bar, and I know you're going to play some more shows. You mentioned that before New Year's Day, you didn't want to tour anymore. Is it safe to assume you still don't want to tour anymore beyond West Coast, California?
I will be primarily in the tri-state area, probably spending a lot of time there. And then as it makes sense or plays out with the connections that I make to actually do maybe smaller runs, you know what I mean? Like I could see like 2-week runs or like targeted, even maybe 3-week runs. I can pull that stuff off. But at this point, I'm just kind of saying hello to the world again. It's like, it's kind of all word of mouth, right? It's like, if they like it, people share it. And then it finds someone new, and then I get to connect with that person. I'm like, for me, I'm just seeing it like, again, it's probably really idealistic, and it may not actually work out in the end in terms of like numbers and, you know, and blowing up or whatever. But I just see it as like, what's the cool direct message I got today? Like, who did I get to talk to today? Like, did I get to share something that was meaningful? Like, did we have a good laugh? If someone shared something like pretty dark and like they needed some help with or whatever, like that's kind of the space I'm trying to stay in. And as long as I'm content there, then I don't get wound up in all the numbers and followers and all that stuff, because my heart does lean there. If I don't like guard myself, you know, I'm like, someone unfollowed today. You know, like
I'm the same way. I understand, you know.
They have apps for that. You can see exactly who unfollowed you, so you can direct message them and say, "Why'd you unfollow me, bro?"
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's what I mean. That's the I understand, like there's a part of that that's sort of it's ingrained in this industry and stuff, and there's a necessity to it, but I don't want to live in that space. I just want to live in the space of like, if you like it, you'll listen, you'll share it with other people, and it'll just grow from there. It may be slow, but that's all I got the time for.
Yeah,
I totally understand. I got 2 kids too, so it's hard.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Wait, how old are your kids? I'm just curious. How old are your kids?
4 and 8. So I got a daughter and a son, so I'm happy.
Oh, dude, you're in it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so in it. You're so in it.
Yeah.
Adam, do your kids go back now and go on the internet and watch your old videos with Homegrown? Is that something they're interested in seeing what you used to do?
Yeah, as we show them, it's actually funny because like pop punk is like hit like a whole new sort of resurgent, right? It's like sort of
crazy, yeah.
And so some of their younger friends actually like, dude, I saw your dad on YouTube, and maybe
That's
like an
so
old homegrown concert that has, and all the kids talk in terms of like, dude, that had like 100,000 plays, and like like how many people watched it, is like famous, but yeah, a little bit. Yeah, the kids are some of my biggest supporters for sure. For sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's only June. We still have half a year left. How many more singles do you expect to roll out the rest of this year?
So I got the next singles, I'm Not Okay and That's Okay, which is coming out July 2nd. And then I'm trying to, here in a perfect world, this is what I'm trying to do. And I'm waiting to hear back from Chain Reaction, but Chain Reaction in Anaheim.
Yes.
That would be cool.
Right. I want to do like, it's almost like a return to the roots, right? Like they helped us get our start back in the day. I want to do a record release show there on September 4th. So far, the promoter said, yeah, let me check with Kevin or whatever and see if that works out. I'm waiting to hear back still. But it looks promising. If I get that show, then I want to release it on I think it's like September 3rd is that Friday, and just release the whole album. So
very cool.
Let's work out. I'll have to sort of I want to keep it around September, but I'll have to sort of figure out a more strategic way to do it,
I did see some clips from the OC Sellout Fest you did. I think there was one homegrown cover in there. Is that something you want to continue to do? Would you add more to the set list, or do you want people to just focus on Radical and that's just like a little treat extra?
I'm not sure, because it's like, for me, it's like paying respects, right? It's like, it's kind of where I came from. It's like, and so it's like a tip of the hat. It's like a thank you to that, because it's what sort of gave me the voice to the sound that I have now. I did that one for fun, just because it's like my first time back. I don't know if that'll be in like an ongoing theme. Maybe I do want it from time and time again. Maybe I wouldn't. I'm honestly, I haven't thought it through too much. But for the first show, it just seemed to be like, oh, this would be cool.
I saw clips and people were like going crazy in the front row, pointing, like screaming. It must have been really cool.
At least one song, maybe,
Keep it for a little bit. Actually, it's funny because Anthony, he's a guitar player in the band, who's actually the guitarist bass for New Year's Day after I departed. He was the one who's all, dude, we should do a homegrown song. I'm like, whatever. And I even made this like funny like voiceover video of us like jamming and like rehearsing and stuff. And I'd even made a comment in there, like he started playing like the riff inside of the Instagram video, and I'm like, come on, dude, we're not even. He's all, well, we should. And I was like, kind of like, yeah, we're gonna do it, Again,
I just feel like because you did the acoustic covers on your page, people would expect that more so than if you didn't do that. So that's why I brought it up, because you did like a couple of them. So now people will probably think, oh, they're gonna play at least one of those songs,
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're looking forward to it. I mean, that's cool. I mean, I love it. It's like, it feels like riding a bike, right? It's like,
oh yeah.
I honestly feel like, I know that sounds maybe pretentious, but I feel like even if we got back on stage, like Darren, John and Dan and stuff like that, without any practice, and just stepped on a stage, we could probably do it, and it'd probably sound pretty good. It's just, I mean, you do it for so long. It's just, it's like muscle memory. You say a song and be like, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah,
Did they come out to that first show, or they weren't around?
No, they didn't come out to the first show. I would have loved to see him though. Ashley came out, which is nice. She said hi.
Where did Steve go? It's like the Ross and Adam show now. Look at that. Where'd he go? He left. I think we bored him to death. Oh, here he is.
Hey, Steve.
What happened?
Sorry, the kids were asking for me, so I figured I'll go talk to them while you guys were talking. So
I love it, man. That's real life.
So to finish my question from 30 minutes ago, you said you have another song coming out in a week or two, and that's the third single?
Yeah, July 2nd, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
July 2nd.
Yeah.
I'm working on a video right now. We're working on a video treatment with Mario from Nights Like Thieves, another great band. And actually used to play with him in a band he was in at the launch pad out in New Mexico. So there's like old homegrown.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, it's gonna be cool. Well, I'll probably have a video maybe like closer to the actual record release.
Cool.
So
Well,
this
let's,
is so yeah, you're staying
let's-
focused on this. This is your new this is your new thing, and you're fully invested. You are.
Yeah.
We can confirm that you are not the new singer of Zebrahead. I know it's going to be announced next week. It's not you, right?
No.
No.
That would
Okay.
be cool though. I could see that though. Well, cool. Let's we'll plug your Instagram, and because we're about to run out of time on Zoom, it's giving
Sure.
me the heads up. And because I know you also have a website. I guess you got those vinyl released too.
Yeah, I got a vinyl release. I'm going to be doing a raffle next week. It's for subscribers who have like taken that next step and sort of purchased merch to help me support the project. And I got 40 I'm releasing. It's a super small run. So if you want to get it, make sure to buy something like this week. And singles coming up July 2nd. If you want to stay in touch with me, I'm most active on Instagram. So Radical Music. And then I also upload video and content to YouTube as well. So you can just, search Radical on YouTube and find all kinds of stuff, homegrown stuff, radical stuff. And
yeah. And then
Thanks, guys.
after you do that, you should go and watch the movie Rad from the 80s, the skateboarding movie. Speaking
You
of
should.
Rad. Oh,
hey,
yeah.
and if you haven't yet, I did a video for the first single, Misfit Toys.
Yep.
Sorry,
With
guys, kids are
Revolver.
calling me again.
There you go.
I'm listening.
You can why don't you just wrap this up? You guys can talk. So.
All good. Yeah, go check out the video because, man, I'm really proud of the video. That came out really great. It's called Misfit Toys, and worked with Frank over at Revolver Creative. And it's just really high level. I cry when I can't watch it. I cry. So hopefully it makes you cry too.
All right, Adam, it was great talking to you again. Reunited after all these years, and I hope we talk again. I hope we talk again soon. Let's keep in touch on Instagram like we've been doing.
Sorry, they're like screaming and fighting each other.
Oh, good, man.
Anyway, Adam, it was such a pleasure, man. I appreciate it,
Like,
and we'll talk down the road, man.
Steven, great to see you, man. After all these years, dude, you look good.
Yeah, I'm so glad we got
man.
to do this.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
All right, you
Bye,
All right.
guys.